So you want to start SMMA, but you're scared to. You're thinking, dang, I gotta interview people. I'm not even qualified to interview people. I don't know if I can outreach and message clients. They might think I'm a fraud. I'm not experienced in marketing. I thought I was a social person, but I don't know now. I'm underage, bro. I don't know if they'll talk to me. I don't know if they'll listen. These are all excuses that people use to procrastinate themselves from seeing success with SMMA. I promise you, you don't have to worry about this. In this video, I'm gonna be giving y'all the top ways to overcome being scared to start your SMMA business and just going for it. That's really all it is. Number one, what you have to realize is confidence comes from preparation. So in a sense, how can you prepare yourself for SMMA? Now, you can try to, it's all about perspective as well, right? Because you can try to look at it as, oh, I'm not as prepared in marketing. I haven't ran a business before, so therefore I'm not gonna be confident. And then you can accept that for going into SMMA, and you can be like, okay, then I'll give myself some slack because I've never done this. This is new to me. Or you could look at it from a different way and realize that it's other ways to prepare yourself rather than always just having the technical skills of experience. So your mindset, that's the first go-to way. Before you even do anything, you need to prepare your mindset. You need to get in the trenches. You need to journal who you are right now, what you don't like about that, and separate that from the person that you want to become. You need to write all of those things down, how you would get from, or basically it's just you backtrack. You write where you want to be at, and then you backtrack all the things that you need to do to get there, and then you can get your step one from that. That's how you change your mindset. Next step is, for preparation, you need to have your systems in place. So when you start, you don't want to just jump straight into it and not like have a course or not have a course of action. Look up any videos if you don't have enough money to buy a course. You don't want to just go straight into it like, oh, I'm gonna call a client. I never delivered these services myself. You want to get plans in place. So you want to go through, you want to get your contractor if you plan on using them to fulfill the services for your marketing. Or you want to develop a plan on how you're going to fulfill it if you decide to do it yourself. And then from there, you want to map out, okay, once I do get a client, before I even outreach, how would I onboard them? What systems and processes would I put in place to make this as easy as possible? To put them on automatic payment so they don't have to keep doing it manually every month and then question whether they actually need to stay with me or not. You need to put in place the growth plan so you can explain that to them, the sales call script, everything. You put that all in place and you go into it, even though you might be a little hesitant, that's gonna eliminate a lot of your fear because you have already a mapped out plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. You know how the saying goes. So that holds true in any facet of life, SMMA as well. Now the next thing you can do to prepare yourself is your environment. So if you're in a place of where there's negativity, people around you, sometimes you got to separate yourself, whether it's even your friends or your family even. And they're speaking, they're stuck in this mindset where $10,000 a month sounds like a dream. It sounds like you go to sleep and that'll be the only way that you see $10,000 a month. But we all know in today's age, with this online space, this is a different opportunity than we ever had in our life. This is not true at all. So if you need to go somewhere else, you need to move away from your hometown, or not even negativity, sometimes the distractions. You need to leave your phone in the other room. You need to take your TV out of your room. You need to, whatever you need to do to change your environment to help you dial in and focus. That's how you can prepare. And the last way that you can prepare is give yourself no choice but succeed. Now, this is for those major risk takers. Now, what you could do is quit your job, or just up and leave and say, look, I'm gonna go start this. I have this amount of money left in my bank account to get this up and running in X amount of time. And if this doesn't work, then I don't know what I'll do from here. And then you'll be forced to go ahead and go through with your plan and take all the action that you need to do, because you have no other option. It's either succeed or be a failure, and you don't know where your life is gonna go after this. So that's how you can prepare. Now, the next topic that you need for eliminating fear is you need to structure your little wins in a way to treat your mind to associate action with winning or rewards. So many times people try to, they get a little win and they look at people so much bigger and farther along than them. and they don't even take a moment to acknowledge the little things they got. Now, if you set up your email, if you set up your Zoom sessions, or book the call for an interview for a contractor, whether you did just only send a message to a client for outreach and not actually get them to book a meeting or get them on a call, you gotta treat every little action that you do that's the next step towards your end goal. You gotta reward yourself for that. Make yourself, feel good, man. Have positive self-talk in your head. Take yourself out for a little meal or such like that for these little milestones. And then you will associate you taking action with a reward. And therefore, if you don't take action, then you'll be like, okay, I'm a failure because I have no reason to reward myself. Now, the problem comes in when you start rewarding yourself for not doing any work, these little dopamine rushes, and you just take it way overboard and as if you fully completed everything that you needed to do when you only took the first step by setting your email up, So you gotta have some discernment about this. You gotta have some critical thinking skills, and really, this is a real mental game. This SMMA stuff is not one of these other business models where you don't really have to think about it. You don't have, you just do the work. It's really labor-based. This is smart work, not hard work. So you gotta use your mental to your full capacity and think strategically about everything you need to do, every step. Everything you wanna do and you wanna do well, you should plan it to some extent. Now, the next thing you need to do in order to eliminate fear is forget about other people's opinions and let it go. These people's opinions don't affect your life. Even if you gotta unadd all those old friends on Facebook, unfollow all of those high school friends from on your Instagram that's not doing anything with their life, it just makes you nostalgic when you look at their pages and be like, man, I used to remember when I used to be in this certain area doing this certain thing. Or these people are, they want to laugh and joke and they want to keep you at this same position. You got to forget about all that. You got to up and leave, bro. It's time to revamp yourself. And we have no time to waste, no time for procrastination. If we're going to do anything and make ourselves rich, bro, the time is now. So forget about those other people. Forget about anything negative they had to say. Just forget about that part of your life right now while you're trying to scale up, and focus on who you need to become right now in this present moment, all right? Don't let none of that hold you back, man. Sometimes even your family, if they're taking you from your dream and you know for a fact that you can do this, then sometimes you might need to step away for a little bit and push yourself away. And sometimes they don't think about the viability of it and how realistic it is because they don't see it every day. You see it every day. You're on YouTube, you see people do it. You've seen people scale from 0 to 10K a month, right? So you got to explain that to them. A lot of times our parents are just concerned about us and our past and stuff that we want to take. But the best way to alleviate all the doubters, the best way to block out all the hate is to just be successful. And then they can't do anything. They can't question it no more. You did it, you went through. And so that's how you got it, right? Now, the next thing you need to do is realize that failure is vital to success. Now, a lot of people, they're scared to take action because they're scared of failing. But if you never fail, you never get an opportunity to learn. Think about how boring your life would be and how lame you would be if everything you did, you were successful. You would reap no joy out of like the journey or trying it. It would just be, everything would be on easy mode. It's too easy at this point, bro. It's no fun in it. You can have everything you want. Essentially, this is kind of how I get sometimes when you get to a point where you have so much money. I can imagine. I haven't been there yet, but I can only imagine you get to a point where you have so much money, you can buy everything. You don't get any joy out of it anymore. And most people grind for what? Money. And so you don't even have to do that. So, that's how you get caught up into a low vibrational lifestyle and end up looking for different ways to cope and to find happiness. So what y'all need to do, man, is realize that you need to fail. You need hardship. You need trials and error. And it provides learning opportunities. It provides growth. It provides personality development. Failure, yes, it's character development in failure. You learn what not to do. What not to do in social environments. What not to do in business environments. Oh, you shouldn't have asked this question. whatever you need to do. Fail and fail fast so you can go ahead and get that part out of the way. And like that Iman and his team says in the course, it doesn't matter. You can fail all you want to, but it only takes one right decision to change your life forever. You only need that one decision, and the way you got to get to it is through these actions that may lead to failure here and there, but you keep sticking to it, you'll eventually come up on that thing that will grant you all the success that you need. Now, the next thing you need to realize is all SMMA is getting past the initial stage of the most challenging things, right? So SMMA is one of those business models where it's most challenging in the beginning, but once you finish, like once you ramp up, you never ever have to do that again. Like, this is a point in time. So for example, let me explain. You go super hard, right, with outreach. You sending out 100 messages throughout all of these sources of 25 messages on Instagram a day, 25 on LinkedIn, 25 on Facebook, 25 emails a day. And wherever else you're sending, you're reaching these businesses, you're 25 cold calls. But once you do that and you go hard, once you sign a few clients, you can hire on Upwork, on these freelance sites, VAs that they will go ahead and they will curate lists for you, or they will actually be appointment setters, and they'll just reach out to these people and they'll set you up to where all you got to do is be on the sales calls. But in order to get to that stage, you got to go through the hard part. A lot of people want to just kind of like keep it easy. Okay, I'll go down and I'll do 30 outreach a day, and I'll do that every single day. Now you're gonna have, say it takes 1,000 outreach to finally get to a point where you get to that intermediate level where you're really flowing with it. You kind of know the ins and outs. If you only do 30 outreach a day, that's 330. So it's gonna take you 330, almost a year of 30 outreach per day in order to get to that point where you're really flowing with the business. But if you do 100, 200, that'll take you 1/3 of it. I'm just going off the top right now, I'm flowing. So 3x the process. So it'll only be like 90 days, 3 months for you to get to that point, get acquainted, get where you need to be. So that's why you need to go ahead and put in the work and ramp up. And once you get past that and stop stretching out that hard stage, because people don't want to go through that hard stage. They want everything to be easy, everything to be kosher, but it can't be like that. You got to go through that hard stage, and then you can see what's on the other side of that, which is greatness, which is a glorious lifestyle. Now, the last thing you need to do, be content and focusing on you and have tunnel vision in this sense. Stop comparing yourself to others. Now, you compare yourself, it's a healthy comparison where you look around and you kind of see people that was in your same time period or started off from your same position around the same time as you. It's kind of like some friendly competition to gauge how you're doing amongst the average of people. But even then, bro, you shouldn't compare yourself to the average person, because the average person isn't even thinking about starting an SMMA business or entrepreneurship. They just want to work their regular job, work for their pay, so they can just spend all of their money just enough to have to make to the next check and just keep doing it over and over. So it depends on what you're looking at when you're looking at average people. But don't compare yourself to the people that's at the top and the people that's been doing this a really long time, because they got all this expertise, they got all the skills, all the knowledge, and you'll get there eventually. But you just gotta dial in and focus on you right now. The thing that got you from $0 to $10,000 a month isn't gonna be the same thing that takes you from 10K to 100K. So you're trying to use 100K to $1 million a month method on a 0 to 10K a month scenario. Like, it's not gonna work. This is why you need to focus on where you're at right now and know that and be confident in that. Thank y'all for watching this video. If you got some value out of this, make sure you like, comment, definitely subscribe for more value coming soon. Documenting my whole SMMA journey and any other value that I feel as though I need to share with y'all besides that. We out.